weapons? Looking to make quick work of your enemies? Take your pick. Need more weapons or ammo? Come see me.
Ship services? Anything ship-related, you're at the right... I don't mind helping, but it'll cost you. All right, let's see what you need.
Always listen to Delgado, unless you want to get killed.
I'm ready for combat, Captain.
I'm all ears.
Great. Now I'm more tired than when we went to bed.
With all due respect, I'm not doing you any good here. Am I being reassigned? Take care.
Ah, hello.
Pressure normalizing. Undocking complete.
to lift off when you are, Captain.
Wherever the Crimson Fleet go, we'll follow.
My family's all in the UC Navy, but being sister.
You're back. So how did it go? Frankly, it's because we've never gotten this far before. The last agent I sent to infiltrate the Crimson Fleet ended up in a morgue on New Atlantis. Then things are moving forward. Perfect.
Nice job, Rook.
I was certain we'd fool Delgado, but never. She's a sharp one. Overcoming her scrutiny is no small matter. Did you discover anything worth reporting yet? Legacy. Why does that sound familiar? Wait a moment. Are you telling me Delgado may have actually located Crix's legacy?
Excuse me, Commander. Did you say Crix's legacy? Please tell me you aren't seriously going to give that any credence. Everyone knows that's just I don't know, a myth.
I'm holding tangible confirmation of the word legacy attached to Crix's name. That's too much of a coincidence to attribute to myth.
I suppose it's possible, sir. Intelligence picked up a bit of chatter on that subject recently. We assumed it was some sort of tall tale or a story to attract recruits to their cause. Well, we can solve that little mystery in about 10 seconds. Let me see what we have here. Nope. There are no records of a Galbank transport named the Legacy in the database. I think Delgado's trying to manipulate you. What do you think, sir?
I think there's no record because Galbank is hiding something. Delgado's no fool. If he risked his own neck to get that information, then he must be onto something. We have to take this seriously. What's your next move? Clever, Delgado. Very clever. If I were in your place, I'd be trying to do the exact same thing. We can't let Delgado get his hands on what could potentially turn out to be the largest haul of credits the Crimson Fleet's ever seen.
Maybe I should head out to New Atlantis, sir. I could press the Galbank execs for information. Get ahead of everything.
No. Let's allow this to run its course. We have our agent here feeding us information. I think that's good enough for now. There's more to this than just finding the location of the transport. Jasper Crix was clever. For some reason, he never got there. And let Neva Mora take his place. Or Shinya Voss. Or any one of a number of pirates already gunning for his position. No. The solution is to stick to the undercover operation and determine how much of this is truly a credible threat. Because the Crimson Fleet would be a totally different adversary, and Crix wouldn't have disappeared years ago. Even if they hid the money with that damn human computer Shinya Voss, our forensic accounting people would have found that data. No. The Crimson Fleet are in dire shape right now. They haven't seen that much currency, well, ever. It's imperative that you do. If the Crimson Fleet gets its hands on a transport full of currency, it would be disastrous for the settled systems. I need you to do whatever you can to bring us more information. And for God's sake, don't kill anyone on that Starliner. You're both dismissed.
Ordered the key.
Is it really necessary for you to drag around all that gear?
There's one thing spookier than a pirate. Maintenance crews are the unsung heroes of the Vigilance. Incidentally,
Undocking complete, Captain.
You are entering United Colonies space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Scan complete. You're cleared to land at New Homestead.
Welcome to New Homestead. Please make your way to the building at the end of the path and down into the colony below. Stay safe and enjoy your visit.
Got anything you need to offload? Trade authorities always buy. Hey, what can I do for you? Okay, no problem. I'm sure you can find something you like.
Interesting. I've heard people who spend extended periods in low gravity can actually suffer from health problems if they don't exercise to compensate.
Don't stay outside. Feel free to look around, but don't touch.
I'm learning so much here. Everyone should visit at least once in their life.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live.
It's been a while since I last visited.
What did we think of the tour?
Very informative. I didn't know about the methane harvesters before coming here.
The, Brown Horse Tavern, was it, huh? The food was better than I expected from a backwoods planet like this.
It has a quaint charm, doesn't it?
Just like the rest of New Homestead.
Well, I hope you'll come back and see us again sometime. And I hope you'll consider another Starsap tour. Tell your friends.
Bye. We will. Thanks again.
Excuse me, Bill. You've got to do a better job of keeping your tour groups out of trouble.
What do you mean?
That little boy almost wound up on my operating table. Claudio said he was playing with some of the machinery down by the mines and nearly got his arm stuck inside. It could have been ripped off.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, kids, little troublemakers. I'll tell the guests to be more careful.
Damn right. You've got to do something, or else next time it happens, I'm billing you personally.
Yeesh. Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. Let me tell you, this place is full of history and interesting facts. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years. Well, there's plenty more where that came from if you're interested in taking one of my famous tours. So what do you say? I've got an opening. I could take you on a tour right now if you'd like. Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits. Great! Let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so
careful.
Try to be respectful of that.
There's dangerous areas around here
While
that
the
aren't part of
original
any tours.
inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me. Have any questions so far? Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy. Alrighty, we'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator. New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony, Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died.
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
For growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
We Titans are hardy people. You'd have to be to live in a place like this.
Any questions about the farms? By all means, go right ahead. Feel free to talk to the farmers, but I ask you respect their privacy and don't bother them too much. After all, they are on the job. Come back and let me know when you're ready to move on.
Hello. Don't mind me. I love talking with off-worlders like you. Ah, someone new. Are you a tourist, or have you just moved to New Homestead? Well, there's lots to learn. You can always feel free to try one of the historical tours, or ask the locals about life here. I'm fascinated by the other worlds in the settled systems. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Oh, wonderful. What's New Atlantis like? Oh my, that sounds incredible. Ever since I overheard one of the tourists speaking about it, I've always wanted to go. We hear about it, of course, but we rarely get much exposure to other worlds beyond the people who come from them to visit our little colony. I wonder if I can convince Nathaniel to go on a trip there with me and our daughter. Do you mind if I ask you another question? Thanks. I promise not to take too much of your time. Is the Freestar Collective as lawless as I've heard? Really? That sounds nice, but what happens if there's a dispute? Who settles it? Do people really just take the law into their own hands at that point? Can people be trusted to do the right thing? Gosh, I'm sorry, you don't need to answer all of that. I'm just so fascinated by it all. Is it okay if I change the subject? Oh, thank you. Are there really planets full of plants, fresh air, and water? I've read about them. It seems incredible, doesn't it? I've only ever known Titan, and it's always so cold and drab. I've always dreamed of visiting one to breathe the air, feel the warmth of its sun, but my husband is reluctant to leave our home. Can I ask you something else? Oh, thank you. Is space travel as exciting as it seems? Well, you've convinced me that I simply must go sometime. Most of us here have never left the surface of New Homestead. It's a point of pride among many people, but I've always been curious. Those are all the questions I have at the moment. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day for me.
No disrespect. I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving home. You got anything to say for yourself? Listen here. Mara's free to make her own decisions. I'm not here to control her if that's what you're insinuating. But that doesn't mean I take kindly to other people manipulating her and telling her the other worlds are full of sunshine and rainbows. We live a simple traditional life here, and it's important to the community that we maintain that. Do you understand? We're going to have to agree to disagree then. I only ask that you respect our wishes.
Any questions about the farms? Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking. But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here.
That tour guide showed one of the kids a picture of some silly drawing he saw in Sidonia. Now I feel like it's popping up everywhere.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan Astrobase biolabs. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site. Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up. Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds. So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage. You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet. Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astrobase. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's functions since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. So, let's talk about wind power, shall we? Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here. You're the boss. Let's go! Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of this stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. Though, of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She had this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right? Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Fire away! Exports mostly, since this world is so methane-rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, new homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen via modern science. Ah, it's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput. During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs. Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry. Take your time. But not too much time. Don't want to keep other customers waiting, you know. Questions? Fire away! Okie dokie, artichokey. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Ymir's Horn. This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here. So here it is, Ymir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like. According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits. Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it. I've heard this particular formation was caused by an ancient volcano. Something about steam and wind, then worn down over time. But I'm not 100% sure. Just be careful. It can get slippery out that way. I'll wait here. So here it is, Ymir's horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like. Excellent. On to the next stop then. So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. That brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on it. The operation.
Carrying enough clutter there, or should we find some more?
Such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface.
Just got the message.
You're welcome to keep your suit on if you'd like. As you might expect from a place called the ice mines, it can get a little chilly. It takes miners working daily to clear the ice, melt it down, and keep the water flowing. What else can I tell you about the ice mines? I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over. Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told. Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves. Sounds good. Let's keep going then. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest-running establishment still in existence, the Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants hundreds of years before it was established.
Ice mining operations are unusual, but if they're run properly, they can prove to be
Welcome.
quite
I'm
lucrative.
Anya. Is this your first time with us at the Brown Horse Tavern? Oh, well, thank you for joining us. You're in for a real treat. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow homemade recipes that have been passed down over hundreds of years. So, what can I do for you? Oh, hardly. The locals pretty much stay away from chunks, so whenever they don't feel like cooking themselves and want a fresh meal, they come to me. Only the tourists eat that junk. But don't tell that to my husband. He manages the chunks. I love him, but he's a bit of a fanatic about it. Hope you'll be back sometime.
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the Brown Horse? Anya Seattle is the current owner of the Brown Horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there. Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything. Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced. Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop, right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare Earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that. I hope you enjoyed Starcept tours as much as I enjoy giving them.
Well, first, you should know that this isn't like any of the other tours.
Oh, wow. I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Homestead.
Wow, very generous. As long as you're throwing around money, maybe you wouldn't mind tossing some my way.
Take care!
This colony's a lot smaller than I thought it would be.
Hello there. The museum here is free to everyone. Hello there. Are you here to peruse our little museum exhibit? Wonderful. These are all rare artifacts from before the collapse of Earth. There isn't much of this stuff left outside of private collections, but here we're happy to share a glimpse of them with the public. If you have any questions about the exhibit or New Homestead, I'm happy to answer as best as I can. Thanks for visiting.
Did you know the museum here is full of old...
Hello there. Welcome to the New Homestead Chunks. We've got all your Chunks' favorites. Well, almost all of them. Sadly, we're out of the special sauce. I know. But everything else is still that great Chunks food you know and love. So, what can I do for you? Oh, it's all good. Chunks pays me pretty well. And between you and me, Anya's doing all right herself. Plus, we got this plan, you know? We want to see if we can introduce some of Anya's famous cooking to the Chunks lineup and pitch it to corporate. Imagine Anya's delicious food in every Chunks restaurant across the settled systems. And people are bound to come visit her place to see where it all started. It's a win all around. If I'm completely honest, it is. And people are always saying how this Chunks can't compare to the real deal. And I just know it's because we never had that mouth-watering sauce. I've been in contact with some of the other restaurants out there, and they'll give me some, but they say they can't afford to send it, and I don't have a ship, so what am I to do? Wait, for real? You do that? You're not pulling my leg? Oh, yeah, right. I actually just got a message back from another Chunks before you got here, and they got a case ready to go for me. Just tell them you're there to pick it up for me, and it should be good to go. Thanks.
Welcome to Chunk. Thanks for choosing Chunks. Which chunks would you like today? I don't know. Smaller chunks? Great. What can I get for you?
Did you see those wind turbines out there? Wow.
I really don't get the appeal of this Chunks place.
I can imagine living here. These people sure are hardy.
Ah, to lay eyes on the earth just once. Hello there. Are you here to peruse our little museum exhibit? Wonderful. There is, if you have, it's an interesting story. New Homestead began as a scientific research base called the Titan Astrobase, back when space travel was in its infancy. The hope was that humanity would be able to discover simple alien life here given the moon's composition and water supply. When that ultimately failed, it was repurposed as a colony research base where Scientists and engineers studied how to build colonies on inhospitable worlds. Then, finally, when gravity drives were commonplace and we started finding Earth-like planets, New Homestead was born as a living history community to preserve that past. When our early colonists learned of Earth's demise, they decided to take on the names of their cities of origin as a way to remember their heritage. Now, some may have been lost in translation over the years, and some may have taken it more seriously than others, but the names are mostly accurate. For instance, my family comes from the city of Lyon, in a country that was called France.
Oh, wow. Sounds
I am Maurice Lyon, and I am the community elder. As the oldest living citizen at 96, my only job is to keep Earth history alive. I tell stories to the young people and the visitors from other worlds. Although my memory isn't what it used to be, I try my best to get the stories right. Sure, I'd love to. There was once a war, so big that they say all of the world was involved. This was actually the second time it happened. They fought because a terrible man named Hitler rose to power and slaughtered many innocents. Millions were lost. Even the colony war pales in comparison. Why, certainly. It's what I do. There was a time when huge monstrosities called dinosaurs ruled over Earth, long before humans existed. They were similar to some of the larger life forms you might see elsewhere in the settled systems. Their reign ended when I can never remember if it was a comet, an asteroid, or a meteor that hit the Earth. Whatever it was, it nearly wiped out most of the life at that time. Of course, certainly. We have several items in our collection that we rotate in and out over time, but they all originate from the same place, Earth. We have everything from toys to antique technology to sports memorabilia. We even used to have an old Earth vehicle, but we had to sell it when we ran out of space for it. Most of our collection was donated by fellow Earth enthusiasts and historians who felt it belonged close to the homeland here in the Sol system. Take care.
You don't want to get hurt.
Homestead is a living history exhibit, but these are real people, so please.
Here, little simple life. Try to
Retros firing. Orbit stabilized.
Like you're not worse for wear. Be careful. No guarantee the UC will be there for you next time.
Grav jump complete. All right, let's airlock and get aboard.
Was a pleasant change of scenery.
Orders came down. Some new science division policy. Everyone on board's to look out for heat leeches. Consider yourself informed.
We've detached. Let's get out of here. Docking cycle complete.
About time you showed up. All right, I want to know what's going on. I've been trying to get Delgado's attention for, I don't know, 3 years now. And what do I get? Nothing but radio silence. Then out of nowhere, just when Neva and I are closing in on a huge score of our own, Delgado orders me to help you out. Because the only way to achieve a win is by agreeing to play the game in the first place. Worst case scenario, I don't make the fleet, but I end up a couple thousand credits richer. That's almost a win-win, don't you think? Yeah, I figured you'd say something like that. Just another one of Delgado's loyal little soldiers, huh? Fine. Have it your way. So Neva's message said you were here for Dombrowski. Was that all she sent you here to do? Or was there something else you were sent here to steal? Oh, really? Did she now? I can't believe she's trying to cut me out of this deal. Without me, the award never would have ended up here in the first place. I spent months manipulating the Terran Preservation Society into hosting their gala affair aboard the Siren of the Stars. I had to arrange the event to make sure that the award was aboard the ship. Neva said she'd do the rest. When I got a message about Dubrovsky, I assumed she'd be tagging along to steal the award. But looks like she sent you in her place. She told you to hold that over my head, did she? Oh, that witch. Fine, I'll help. But you're doing all the legwork, and I'm still taking my cut of the payout. Anyway, we'll get to that later. First, we have a much bigger fish to fry. So why are you targeting a Gall Bank exec anyway? Not exactly your average Crimson Fleet prey. Why the interest? His credentials. So you're hitting the Gall Bank branch in New Atlantis. Nice score, very lucrative and very dangerous. If you're going after a gold mine like that, I'll want to come along for the ride. Or you're not getting near Dombrowski. Well, well, it appears we have a mind reader here. You're absolutely right. I don't want money. I want back into the Crimson Fleet. It's as simple as that. That's a disturbing way to put it. But I suppose that's the best offer I'm gonna get, so I'll take it. Dombrowski's a full-timer aboard the Siren of the Stars. Probably spends more time cruising the space lanes than actually working. Fortunately, the Siren is hosting the Tehran Preservation Society charity gala. Larry won't be able to resist showing off his VIP clout. To get what you need, you're gonna have to attend the gala, talk to his fellow philanthropists, and dig up some dirt. Yeah, well, lucky for you, it's not black tie, so you'll be fine. This card will allow you to access the Starfield ballroom. If you need my help, I'll be relaxing in one of the upper-level lounges. Head inside and mingle with the crowd. No one likes Dombrowski, so they'll be more than happy to share his dirty secrets. Now you're speaking my language. Oh, there's one last thing. Trident equips all of their starliners with the latest acoustic threat detection. Meaning that you lose patience and kill anyone aboard the ship, security will be alerted and all hell will break loose. Anyway, I suppose that's enough to get you started. Good luck. Oh, and while you're at the gala, avoid the canopies. They're frozen, not fresh.
Listen. Can't hear the engines, can you? You're not moving.
Captain Rokov is one of the most easygoing COs I've ever worked under. In fact, he doesn't act much like a captain.
These newer vessels, more or less look autonomous.
Nothing but the finest at this gala. Lovely party, isn't it?
With all the worthy causes in the settled systems, oh, you'd think people wouldn't waste money on these pretentious luxuries.
Any complaints about your cruise should be directed to one of the staff.
An open bar would have been nice, but Trident's gouging us for every credit we've got. You don't necessarily have to be wealthy to contribute, though the minimum donation level is 5,000 credits. That award is such a joke. It's for members of the society to pat their own backs for spending the most money on the cause. The considerable amounts of cash that Dombrowski donates is the only reason we allow him to attend society functions. That's all then? Okay.
The society chair has really.
Have you
outdone
tried the
herself
canapes?
this time.
Horrid. Positively horrid. It's critical that the Society keeps the memories of Earth alive in our hearts. I'm doing my part by attending this spectacular event. All I know is that the award is given to whomever contributed the most to the preservation of Earth as a historic landmark. I don't know why Larry's attending this event. He could care less about any planet, let alone the Earth. Well, that was boring.
The society. Dombrowski is married to some poor woman that he constantly leaves behind in New Atlantis when he goes on his business trip.
Don't forget to donate to the cause.
On behalf of myself and the entire team at Trident Luxury Lines, we wish to thank you for choosing to travel with us. If you want to dine at Captain Rokov's table during dinner service, it's only an additional 5,000 credits.
Here for business, or? I heard he uses Galbank's VIP suite on the Siren of the Stars almost monthly. Does the man ever do any real work? Enjoy the rest of the event. I certainly hope they decide to hold all future society events aboard a Starliner.
I've done this particular cruise run several times, and I can assure you, the run is quite safe.
In the event of a lockdown, remember to return to your cabin in a quiet and orderly fashion.
Please enter a request into the computer located at the entryway to your cabin.
Quite a lovely Starliner. Nothing but the best for the society, eh?
So, what brings you aboard?
Sorry, I'm busy. Maybe we'll talk another time.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. That view is absolutely
An open
spectacular,
bar would have
isn't
been
it?
nice. Larry likes to drop overly complex words into conversations. I'm sure he knows that it annoys people, but he does it anyway. Nice to have met you.
I certainly hope they decide to hold all future
The society chair
events
has
aboard
really
a
outdone
Starliner.
her. He's been spending a lot of time with Claudia Swist. Quality time, if you catch my meaning. I'm certain his wife doesn't know a thing about it. That's all then? Okay.
Have you tried the cannabis? Horrid.
Please remain in designated.
Sorry, do I know you? Look, I think you're definitely confused here. I really don't have time to have a discussion with you. My partner's waiting for me. He's a very important man. His wife? Oh, for the love of God. I told Larry to keep his big mouth shut, but did he listen? No. He had to impress his friends and treat me like a trophy. Look, I've been in this business for a long time, and I know how this game works, so let's skip all the banter and get it over with. What's it gonna take to make us both happy? If I give you dirt on that son of a bitch Dombrowski, all I'm doing is endangering myself. Why would I do that? I'd love to see that man suffer. If you had another way to get the information, you wouldn't be dealing. You'd be demanding. Yeah, you could be right. Is that supposed to be some sort of threat? Not smart. Not smart at all. You know what? Forget it. The price of doing business by slinging mud is way too steep. What else you got? You're willing to pay me to give you dirt on Larry? Sorry, I thought I'd end up on the short end of the deal. You know, this whole thing really pisses me off. Larry and I had the perfect scheme where thousands of credits all worked out, and then he goes and flushes the whole thing down the toilet.
If you're angry at anybody, it should be yourself for getting mixed up in this ridiculous scheme in the first place.
Judge me all you want, lady. At this point, if I'm going down, then all I'm focused on is dragging Larry down with me. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Larry got together with myself and this other guy, Gabriel Vera. He's some bigwig over at UC Security. I doctored the transactions, Larry wiped them off the system, and Vera kept the legal pressure off of us. We were scamming Galbank for months. It was going well until I discovered Larry was cheating everyone by changing each transaction in his favor before deleting them. I wish I had some. Maybe you should try talking to Gabriel Vera. He should be around here somewhere. If he doesn't want to cooperate, just mention my name. That should grab his attention. Good luck. You're gonna need it. I hope you hurt Dombrowski. Nail his ass right to the wall.
I'm sorry, but unless you're reporting a security situation, I need to get back to my duties.
So, what brings you aboard?
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
If you have any specific
Quite a
requests,
lovely Starliner.
please speak to one of the crews at...
This is going to be the 9th Earth Savior Award ceremony, but the first time it's ever been held aboard a Starliner. Don't forget to donate to the cause.
The ship's purser can assist you with any matters regarding the security of your items. Hello. Are you a member of the Society? Here for business? Sheila Holbrook is chair of the award committee this year. The way she dotes over that glorified trophy, you'd think it was her own child. So what brings you aboard?
The society chair has really outdone herself this time.
Is this important? I don't have a lot of time for idle nonsense. Yes, I'm extremely busy preparing for the award ceremony, so this better be important. Yes, I am. Actually, I've been entrusted with the transfer of the award for the last 7 of its 9 years. Why do you ask? In my cabin? Oh, please. Why would I do something so foolish? I'll have you know that the award is locked inside the master safe, located at the purser's office. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have much more important things on my agenda than to speak to the likes of you.
Please remember to obey all...
Due to, and if you have any little ones aboard, story time with Serena will be held in the ship's library this evening.
Glad to have you aboard. Welcome to the purser's office. I'm Chief Purser Murata. How can I be of assistance today? Oh, absolutely. The safe is magnetically sealed and shielded with multiple layers of fully damage-resistant, vacuum-proof plating. In an unlikely event, our vessel is boarded and the threat detection alarm is triggered. The safe will be permanently sealed until it reaches port. In the even more unlikely event this ship is destroyed, we can assure you that your loved ones will be able to recover your goods from the wreckage. So, as you can imagine, your property will be completely secure until you decide to retrieve them from our safe. I've only seen it briefly myself, but I can assure you that it's quite lovely. Unfortunately, the item is locked inside of our safe, which can only be accessed by presenting an appropriate claim ID. Is there anything else I can assist you with today? Don't forget to tell your friends how much you enjoy the cruise.
Don't forget to keep your Starview pass handy at all times, or you won't have access to the ballroom.
Quite a lovely starliner.
I'm sorry. I don't believe we've met. Do I know you? Well, of course you do. Everyone on the Siren knows who I am. I'm certain we've never been acquainted before, so I'll do you the courtesy of forewarning you about the impertinence that's to follow. When you approach me, I'd highly advise you to choose your words carefully. Otherwise, it's likely they will be your last. I think we're done here. Good day. Ah, we're speaking again. Lovely. I can't possibly think of anything I'd rather be doing at this very moment. Oh, I think you'll find I'm worth far more than you can possibly imagine. I'm not certain why you're approaching me with this harassment, but I can assure you that you've made a potentially life-threatening mistake. Perhaps you're unaware of the extent of my influence, or perhaps you're irrevocably stupid. I'll assume it's the latter and overlook it for now.
Here for business? For pleasure.
If you have any specific requests, please speak to one of the crews attendants.
An open bar would have been nice, but Trident's gouging. Must you continue these unwelcome interruptions? I'm a very busy woman. Excuse me? And why in goodness name would I do something as foolish as that? Okay, there's no need for that kind of talk. I'm sure we can work something out, right? Here, take it. Take it, and go.
Please remember to obey all posted safety and...
This must be where the passengers store their valuables while the siren's underway.
Please remain in designated passenger areas at all times. Have a safe journey.
I certainly hope they decide to hold all future sustainable
Hello. You here for the charity event?
Dombrowski, he's the exec holding court over in the VIP area of the ballroom. Yeah, sorry. I work for UC Security, not Galbank. I don't really know him personally. Claudia sent you, did she? Look, friend, I don't know if you're just a little drunk, maybe a touch crazy, or both. Whatever you think you know about me, you're dead wrong. So back off.
You're a liar and an absolute disgrace to the United Colonies.
Just in case you weren't aware, I am the authorities. Anything you try to report will boil down to your word against mine. And since I work for UC Security, who do you think people will believe?
That view is absolutely spectacular, isn't it?
I saw your little exchange with Vera. Keep that up, and I guarantee that imbecile's gonna demand that you be arrested. Which is why he's threatening you. That makes sense. We need hard evidence of their scheme. But it's gonna be tricky. The problem is he's not gonna talk to you in public. We need to get Vera isolated so he'll spill everything he knows. Smart. If there's an emergency, standard practice is for all passengers to clear the decks and report to their cabins for lockdown. I think the best chance we have would be to tamper with the life support sensors. Manipulate a few controls, and you can fool the monitoring system into thinking there's a life support failure. And there you have your emergency.
Whatever it takes. He's talking about tampering with the only system keeping everyone on this ship alive.
Don't worry. It'll be as easy as it was mingling with the guests at the party. Just throw a few lousy switches and you're done. One more thing. If Chief Engineer Sundin gives you any trouble, tell him I'll erase that gambling debt he owes me. I prefer you use that as a last resort, but hey, what's the harm in losing a few credits when I'm on the brink of rejoining the fleet? Right? Anyway, I better start packing. Things are getting hot around here, and won't be long before Trident figures out you had help. On the surface, he's an upstanding citizen of the United Colonies, pretty high up in UC Security. Lots of clout with Mast. Underneath, he's a greedy piece of garbage. Given the chance, he'd backstab you for a cred stick and pin the murder on someone else. Come to think of it, if he wasn't such a petty tyrant, he'd probably thrive with the Crimson Fleet. There's access to the crew section that you can reach through the Starview Ballroom. Chief Sundin should be there, wasting time at his station as usual. Have fun with that guy, he's a real piece of work. Once you're past Sundin, just look for the room marked Environmental Control. Everything you need is inside. All passengers are instructed to immediately report to their cabins. That way, we keep the halls clear and avoid a panic. Fortunately for us, all of the passenger cabin doors will automatically unlock. This is normally to ensure the crew can check cabins quickly and without interference. But in our case, it's like having an all-access pass. You seriously need to ask. Okay, I'll give you 2 reasons. First, Galbank protects their own. Kill Dombrowski, and they send Ecliptic after every Crimson Fleet ship they can find. Not something Delgado wants, I suspect. And second, you offer Galbank employee in every single Galbank facility in the settled systems will triple their security. I'm gonna guess that won't help with whatever your plans are regarding Galbank, now will it? Get back to it.
Hello. Are Are you a member of the Society?
Pleased to make your acquaintance. Have you tried the canopies? Horrid. Positively horrid.
Captain Rokoff said you're allowed in any of the crew-specific areas. Just don't touch anything, please.
Hold up. This area is off limits to passengers. Wait a second. You're Captain Rokoff's guest, right? Didn't expect to see you down here. Sorry to give you trouble. What can I do for you? Oh, sorry, that area is off limits. No exceptions. Oh, really? Well, that changes things quite a bit. Tell you what, I'm just going to step out for a bit and stretch my legs. Maybe you can hold this for me while I'm away? Yeah, a little. A few of the techs call this deck the dungeon. I think you can see why. Not exactly Starliner-class comfort down here. Don't get me wrong. The quiet gives me time to gather my thoughts, catch up on work, and all that, but I'd rather work on the bridge.
There's some heavy security protecting this area, but judging from the fact that this is the life support control, it certainly makes sense.
All passengers, may I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
Well, it appears that we've definitely ruined the party. Everyone's gone.
Our security team would appreciate if you'd please shelter in your cabin during...
I was wondering if you were the cause of the ship-wide emergency. It's time you stop playing games and tell me why you're here.
May I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and
I
remain
always
there
took him for a
until you
fool.
receive further
I
instructions.
can't believe he's stupid enough to have gotten mixed up with the Crimson Fleet. Still, why would I possibly want to incriminate myself by handing over any evidence? Claudia said that. You sure? Damn it! That means my money's already gone. And Dombrowski's going to walk away with a fortune. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't want to end up on the Crimson Fleet's shit list. But if I give you that information and it falls into the wrong hands, I'll end up in jail. This is a lose-lose situation for me. Dombrowski had the authorization to wipe out records on Galbank's system without raising any red flags. I let Claudia talk me into that. She said she had him wrapped around her finger. Apparently, she was wrong. At least I walk away with something. All right, you have yourself a deal. Here, with this slate and this recording to tie it all together, you'll be able to nail his ass to the wall. He'll do whatever you want. Just remember that you promised to leave me out of it. Well, since Claudia has been spending time disgustingly close to Dombrowski, I think she's suffered enough. On the other hand, I've got very, very special plans for Larry. I have some friends that can, well, let's just say, take care of the problem. That's if you leave him alive, of course. We'll just have to wait and see. All I can tell you is that there's more than a few people at Mast who find Commander Akande to be a huge pain in the ass. I mean, the UC is aware that the Crimson Fleet is a problem, but it pales in comparison to the issues with the Freestar Collective. Akande's loaded with big-picture ideas, but not a ton of evidence to put them into action. And frankly, it's driving my superiors crazy. Just because I'm helping you nail Dombrowski doesn't mean I'm turning my back on UC security. How else am I going to ensure that he ends up behind bars when all this comes crashing down? No, you can leave me out of your merry little band of pirates, thank you very much. You better tell Dombrowski to run, because if you don't kill him, I will.
The Siren of the Stars is now in emergency status. Please remain calm and proceed to your cabin.
You again? This better not be another.
All
Haven't you gotten
passengers,
enough out of me
may I
already?
have your attention, please?
I hope you heard
The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions. This ship is in a state of emergency. Please return to your cabin immediately.
Well, well. You must be the one who's been accosting Claudia and Gabriel. I'm uncertain what you hope to accomplish here, but it appears we should rapidly enter into some sort of negotiation. Excellent, excellent. So, before we begin, let's review the facts. First, it's clear that you've obtained insider knowledge of my arrangement to defraud Galbank. The means and the method, perhaps, but not the motive. And second, I'm going to hypothesize that my compatriots are despondent regarding their share and have assisted you with this endeavor. Since we're speaking and I'm not at the reporting end of a bullet, this leads me to conclude that you desire something personal from me. I pride myself on having an intensely thorough education, though I'd hardly call myself a professor. Though I'm sure that your compliment also meant you were having trouble understanding what I've been saying. In blunt terms, you have compromising materials about me in your possession. The only thing I have to offer in return are my Galbank credentials. I assume that's what you've been angling for all along?
Oh, do get on with this. There's only so long I can stand being in the presence of this pig.
Splendid. It appears we've reached an accord. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me simplify that for you. It sounds like we have a deal. Oh, of course, I trust you'll understand if I ask for us to avoid any further contact. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to formulate how I'm going to utterly ruin two very annoying business associates. Good day.
All passengers.
All passengers are being
May I
asked
have
to
your
return
attention,
to the
please?
cabin at this time.
The captain has declared a
There's no cause for
ship-wide
alarm. I'm
emergency.
sure this is just a minor
Please report to your cabins in an
Well,
orderly
looks like
fashion.
everything worked out. Just like we
You
planned.
receive further
I
instructions.
wish you hadn't blown away the gambling debt that Sandine owed me. But hey, you got the job done. I'm glad you feel that way. Just remember to tell Delgado how much I pitched in to help. You know, I'm still wondering exactly what you needed those credentials for. You feel like telling me, partner? Crix's legacy. Are you serious? I heard Delgado was spinning that yarn, but I thought it was more of a hobby with him. Have things really gotten that desperate? Anyway, I suppose there's nothing stopping me from rejoining the fleet now. It's been a long time coming. I owe you one, Doverleach. Don't worry, it's not an insult. It's a very old Russian word for comrade. It's what I intend to call you from now on, so get used to it. Nonsense. If there's one universal constant you can depend on, it's that Yevgeny Rokov always makes good on his deals. Always. Well, I suppose this is where we part company. Hopefully the next time we meet, we'll be aboard the Key.
All passengers, may I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide
I
emergency.
need to pack up and get out.
Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions. your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
We're free and clear for flight.
Ships. People call me a brand royalist, but I feel like I'm just...
Hello. Welcome to the Galbank Archives. May I see your credentials, please? Just one moment while I verify. Oh, yes, Mr. Dombrowski. Welcome, sir. Give me a moment to log your visit, and then I'll unseal the archives. Me? No. Look, this is my first day on the job. Just cut me some slack, okay? I can't afford to lose it. I got a wife and kids to feed. Everything checks out. Give me a moment to log your visit, and then I'll unseal the archives. There we go. Have a wonderful day.
The last of them.
Working at the Office of Interstellar Affairs is honestly my dream job. Mark my words. Someday, I'll be running the office. No, I'm from Neon. I moved here a couple months ago for a job at the Office of Interstellar Affairs. Yeah? Nice to know I'm not the only Freestar making my way in New Atlantis. Hopefully we'll see each other around. Yeah, I work at MAST, in the Office of Interstellar Affairs. I'm a sort of liaison between the UC and the Freestar Collective. I help solve communication problems, show visiting diplomats the city, things like that. Probably doesn't sound all that exciting to you, but I love it. I've been interested in a diplomatic career since I was a kid.
I finally saved up enough. Getting a day
I've got some signal.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant Yumi was looking for you. Sounds like he's got more work.
Bulk items may require multiple levels of approval and can take up to several weeks for an official response. We apologize for any delay. Welcome to UC Distribution. Something I can do for you? Oh, well, certainly. Right. Come back if you need something else.
You're out there a lot, right? In space.
You will be scanned as you enter the city.
I have things for you. Lifting off. Stay in orbit or jump. Your call.
Any troubles you need to share? I should start charging for my services. Ah, I miss talking to you already.
You wanna kick back? Avoid the last Nova. Bugs in a funk that kill any.
Next time you see Bog.
First time visiting the infirmary, huh? Let me give you a piece of advice. Try not to get into too many bar fights. I'm trying to save my dwindling supplies for sale and pirates coming in off of raids. That's what they all say, until they stumble in bleeding out on my floor. So here's what's what. You need medpacks, curatives, preventatives, I've got you covered. At least as long as my current supply holds out. You need enhancers, legal or illegal? I've got those too. Hopefully that won't be often. Now, if you don't need anything else, I've got a particularly annoying supply issue to deal with. Now there's an offer I didn't expect. If you really want to help, I'm looking for someone who can handle themselves in a public setting. As in someone who knows how to get the job done without shooting up the place. Well, you'd be one of the first. I politely requested a list of supplies from Gennady Aton at the clinic and was told the price of business has gone up. I think he's back on Aurora, and he's upcharging me to pay for it. And if there's one thing I'm not going to do is subsidize his habit. I want you to make sure he delivers my supplies for the price we agreed on, but without raising any alarms. We'll see. Talk is one thing, actions are another. All right, let's take a look. Minor damage. Just so you know, I'm still charging you. Try not to squirm. You might make it worse. There. You're good to go. Oh yeah. The funny thing is, he's the poster boy for upstanding moral citizens. Top of the class at nursing school, did volunteer work in backwater settlements, a reputation you could eat your food off of. Nobody knows he did it all zoned out of his mind. Nobody except his old boss, me. He said he got clean when he joined the clinic, but now I wonder. Try not to die out there.
Your buddy Rokov is aboard the Key. Told me everything that happened.
Yeah, he won't shut up about you. Keeps going on and on. Now I remember why we kicked his ass out the fleet. Yeah, that'd be a first.
All right, neighbor, you've made your point. Well, since you're vouching for Rokov, I guess we can give him another chance. All right. Now that is out of the way, we can move on to the matter at hand. Crix's legacy. Speaking of which, let me see that data you copied from the Galbank archives. Ah, so the Galbank transport went down over Bannock 4. Bannock. Why does that sound familiar? Neva?
Yeah, keep your panties on. I'm looking it up. And I got it. Bannock 4. Let's see. Damn it. Bannock 4 is an EM-class gas giant. We can't even get a ship near the thing without frying every circuit aboard.
EM class? Impossible. There isn't a ship in operation that can navigate that type of interference.
Don't know that one, huh? Well, pick up your pencil. There's gonna be a test on this later. EM class means the planet is giving off a ridiculously high amount of electromagnetic radiation. We're talking off the charts here. Fly your ship anywhere near one of these death traps, and you'll blow every single circuit on your ship. You'd be dead in space. Get it? Yeah, sure. We'll just wrap your ship in a ton of copper and launch you right in there. That ought to do the trick, right?
Both of you shut up and think for a second. I'm sure Creeks hit the same roadblock. All we need to do is figure out how he got around it.
This sounds like a goddamn waste of time to me.
That's the spirit, Rook. That is the essence of the Crimson Fleet that has been slipping away lately. Neva, the Galbank data says the transport had a CBR-27 transponder. Can we track that kind of thing? Pinpoint its exact location?
That transponder is military grade. We're talking ultra-bit encryption, constantly reshuffling frequencies. We don't have shit like that laying around. But before you get that pissy look on your face, I heard that the UC's been working on a ship signal decryption system called the ComSpike. We grab that little beauty, and we'll be able to track anything you want.
All right, here is the plan, so shut up and listen. Rook, I want you and Neva to put your heads together and get us that ComSpike. I don't care if it's mounted at the top of mast. I want it. In the meantime, I'm going to find out more about this EM-class gas giant problem. And I think I know just who to ask.
Give me a little time to crunch the numbers on the ComSpike with Jazz, and I'll point us in the right direction. I promise. You gonna write that in your diary, little girl?
All right, that is enough. We are in arm's reach of Crix's legacy, and I don't have time to deal with this kind of bullshit. Now, both of you, get the hell out of here and get to work.
All right, let's get this over with. Follow me.
A lot of us in the fleet came out of the mud. We grind for every cred, and it shows.
Smuggling beats a real job any day.
That last job didn't pan out. I need something bigger.
All right, let's get right to it. Did you get the Earth Savior Award, or am I gonna be very disappointed? Well, look at that. You followed my directions, and now you're gonna end up with some credits in your pocket. Of course, it would have been more money if you hadn't blabbed about the damn thing to roll call, but that's on you. Anyway, here's your cash. Keep this up, and I might even start respecting you. All right, Fleet? We've all got work to do, so let's get to it.
cybernetics, electromags, energy weapons. Nothing has
I always thought heat leeches were just pests. Never considered
Clamps released. Small jump. Nice work. And you didn't even scratch the paint.
United Colony System Defense at your service.
So I heard there was a bit of excitement on the Siren of the Stars. Your handiwork, I assume? Yes, and I heard there were no casualties. Excellent work.
Except for the eclectic hit squad that you took down at the archives. You've taken care of that mess, by the way.
Speaking of which, I assume you copied the information from the Galbank's computers. Let me see what you got. So the legacy went down at Bannock 4. Bannock 4. Why does that sound familiar, Toft?
Bannock 4 is an EM-class gas giant, sir. There isn't a ship in the fleet that could safely get near that type of world. It sounds like you admire that lunatic. I think his gospel's gone straight to your head. Maybe we made a mistake choosing you for this assignment.
That's enough, Lieutenant. Even if Delgado has an immediate solution to the EM problem, there's still the matter of tracing the Legacy's transponder signal. They have information about the comm spike? Damn it.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that device, sir.
No, you shouldn't be familiar with it. It's a highly classified project. It's an advanced signal decryption and tracking device that the UC Navy's been working on for years. How the hell did the Crimson Fleet find out about that?
There must be an information leak somewhere, sir. It's the only thing that makes sense. I'll see what I can find out.
Fine. This is what we're going to do. You keep playing along and go after the comm spike. Lieutenant Toft and I will see what we can find out about Bannock 4. I don't see the point. The Crimson Fleet apparently has a pipeline of information flowing from somewhere within the UC military. Any attempt to move the comm spike would be a waste of time. We need to play this close to the vest. My superiors are stubborn. They aren't going to authorize an attack on the key based on my flights of fancy, I've been told. We need more evidence that all the Crimson Fleet's plans will result in them actually getting their hands on this fabled cache of credits. Perfect. Just stick with the plan and we'll see who gets to Krix's legacy first.
Nice work on the siren. Keep this up.
We're loose.
Hey there.
Sam has told me so many stories about Aquila City. I feel as though I've lived here all my life.
Careful if you run into those ecliptic jerks.
The Rock isn't exactly modest, but as seats of government go, it's still quite an impressive structure.
Anyone residing in or visiting United Colony System.
You have a nice day now.
Hello.
Let's be certain to stock up on some extra ammunition before we explore the wilderness around the city.
Building new lives. Nice to meet you. I'm Mr. Tate, and you have the look of a newcomer. Welcome to Aquila City. I don't suppose you're in the market for real estate. If so, then look no further. Oh, where are my manners? Very sorry. I hope my insensitive assumptions don't turn you away from considering my properties. I have 2 properties for sale. This one here is a refurbished colonial manor in the heart of the core. I also have a more modest 1-bedroom in Midtown. Any interest in them? It's an unfurnished 1-bedroom, lots of space. It's a very convenient location, just a block or so from Co Plaza. Are you interested? A shame. Well, if you change your mind, just let me know. A pleasure to see you again. It's my favorite listing I've had in years. Spacious, in the core itself. I took great pains to get all the approvals, so the neighbors should be no problem. It's historic and spacious, oh my, so much space. And the price is a veritable bargain. I can't say I'm surprised. As rare as properties like this are, rarer still is the buyer who can afford it. But you do take care.
Bit up there, huh? Space. Must be cool.
Just one quiet day. Not too much to ask for.
Take a look around. It's a good bet I've got something you need. Everyone needs supplies. Well, all kinds of things. What are you looking for?
What brings you to the trade? Aquila City is bustling, one of the busiest trade authority branches in the galaxy. Happy to.
should talk with Duncan. I handle the... You being here is curious. Not our usual sort of customer.
It's tough living here. You can live on your own terms. The Council of Governors meet in our very own Aquila City.
You want to stop here for a drink? I can assure you there are much nicer and safer establishments in Midtown or the core.
People joke. Say those Varun zealots worship a snake. Let me tell you.
Capacity?
Having a good one?
Ooh, long way down.
Or Mr. Crowley. I swear that gelding branch is cursed.
Can you even read Jim's inventory?
Kill for a cup of coffee right about now.
Another day, another shift.
Aren't you the one I saw running away from that crazy guy?
Let's all just take a breath. We all want to protect people from the Astral.